What is up, Not a Grom fam? Today we are doing an install video of the ProTaper Contour ATV Raptor bars, along with some ProTaper pillow top grips, ProTaper adapters, and the unbreakable ASV F3 two-finger Shorty levers. Now you might be asking yourself why I'm going with an ATV bend, and that's primarily because, as you've seen in my previous videos, I've got the ProTaper SEs on there now, which are the RM mids, and they're way too low, but they're nice and wide, which is why I liked them originally. The stock handlebars are really narrow, and as you can see here, compared to the contours that I'm about to install, the contours are actually a little bit taller and a lot wider, so you get the width of the ProTaper SERM mids along with the height of the OEM bar. All right, let's get on to the install. Start by removing all of your accessories such as your mirrors, phone mount, GoPro mount, anything else that you have attached that's external that needs to come off. You can take all of that stuff off now. Then we move on to the grips. The grips should just slide right off depending on what kind of grip glue you have on there. If it's the OEM grips, they're going to be pretty difficult. I actually recommend cutting them off. These came off really easily and I plan on giving them away, so. Next we move on to the clutch lever, which just has a single bolt that holds it in place. Once you get that bolt out, then you kind of wiggle it off to the side and get the clutch cable off of there. As you can see here, I broke that bolt originally. It's been like that for a while, so I ordered a brand new one from Kawasaki to replace it with. Then we move on to the brake side, and it's the same exact way. There's a nut on the bottom and a bolt on the top. They are both 10 millimeter. Take those off, and then it just comes right out. Then we go on to the controls, which house the throttle tube. That just comes out with two Phillips head screws. Then you can detach your throttle tube from the throttle cable, which slides right off just like that. Then you've got two 8 millimeter bolts holding the brake reservoir in. Just unbolt those and go ahead and remove that from the bars as well. Then you can move over to the other side, same thing with the blinker and light controls. It's just two Phillips head screws. Take those out and it'll just pop right off. Up next, you've got a 10 millimeter bolt holding the clutch assembly in place. Then we move on to the actual mounts that mount the bars to the bike. Those are 10 millimeter as well. Just go ahead and take all four of those out entirely. Then you want to make sure you get your cables out from underneath the bars. Then go ahead and remove your clutch assembly. If the clutch assembly is a little too tight, you can take a flathead screwdriver and loosen it up as shown here. Here you can see the difference between the ProTaper SEs and the Contour Raptor ATV bars. And up next, you grab your ProTaper adapters. These adapters are about $40 on eBay. They attach to the bars using a Allen head, which uses a 6 millimeter Allen wrench to attach them. You can go ahead and attach the base plates to the bike now. Next, you want to take your new replacement bar and be sure and weed it through your wiring and attach your clutch assembly to the other side, the same as the way you took it off. Then grab the top plates to your adapters and hand tighten these onto the top of the bar. You don't want to tighten them down with the ratchet just yet. But we'll get to that in a minute. Once you've got your bars hand tightened in place, you want to sit on the bike and try to adjust the bars the best you can to about where you want them. You just want to get them as close as possible so that when you start attaching your controls, they'll be in the correct position. You can always come back and fine tune the position of the bars after everything is installed. Now, due to the fact that these bars are taller and wider, the wiring comes up a little bit short on both sides, so you have to find the wiring harness that goes down into the forks and reroute it to the outside of the forks. You can always come back later and add some zip ties and zip tie the hanging wires to the bars themselves. Up next, you want to take the back plate to your throttle assembly, which has that little notch, and take some spray paint, spray it into a cap, and just dab it on that little notch. This is where you're going to drill your bars so that this will be permanently attached and it won't wiggle around. A lot of people skip this step, but this is actually a very crucial step. As you can see here, I'm just pushing it up against the bar, making sure that notch with the paint on it comes in contact with the bar. And then you can see that there's a little black dot there, and I just drilled it out with a drill. Now we just go ahead and attach everything, and of course it's just 2 screws that holds everything in place. Make sure when you put the throttle tube on that you get the throttle cable aligned in that little notch. It's very important. You'll see it whenever you go to do the assembly. On to the other side, same thing. You can see I'm using a grip to sort of measure about how far out I want these to be. Same with the clutch assembly. Again, with the spray paint, put it on the little notch. You can see where I had some green paint on there previously. And line it up, get the mark put on there, and get your drill out. Once your hole's drilled, you can assemble it all the same. 2 screws in the back, no big deal. Now you can finally put your ASV levers on. We're on the clutch side here. You want to attach your clutch cable first. Then rotate the lever and push it up into the slot so that the holes align. Then we take our brand new Kawasaki bolt, the one that I said that I broke, and just push it in there, screw it into place, and then align the lever up so that it's lined up with the grip correctly. Then we move over to the brake side, same exact thing, you just push it into the notch, drop your Kawasaki bolt in, and tighten it into place. Also, don't forget that bottom 10mm nut on both sides. Then you can adjust your brake lever to get it in front of the grip exactly where you want it, but don't worry about it too much, you can always adjust this later. Now we're going to put our grips on. I don't have the normal grip glue that I use, so I'm going to use a method that I've been told about, which is hairspray. If they slip, I can always just come back and use grip glue later. Just like taking them off, they should just slide right up on there. You definitely want to get them on there before your glue dries, but you should have a few minutes to do that. Now we just attach all of our attachments that we took off from the get-go, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Be sure to check out the video that I upload right after this one, as I will have a video of me riding with all of these accessories attached. That's it for today's video. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next time. Peace!